Hi, and welcome along to AFTV News Daily, the early edition. Hi, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, and I hope you're having yourself a great day so far. The sun is shining over here in the UK today. Well, where I am anyway. It's beautiful outside, just come from outside, and looking forward to a beautiful day. The Premier League looking to ramp up the training now. We know that the players have been back in training, doing a lot of stuff sort of on their own, taking social distancing measures, as you can see with Arteta there. 2,752 tests have been carried out so far on players and staff at all the Premier League football club. And so far, there's been 12 tests returned positive. And as I always say, any positive test is not great, but that's encouraging for the Premier League that, you know, out of all those tested, and once again, so far, 2,752 tests have been carried out, and that's on all of the players and staff connected to all the training, etc. 12 tests, 12 positive tests so far. Only a couple of them has been footballers as well. And yeah, that's encouraging. They're hoping to get the Premier League season back up and started towards the end of June, as we know. And also, I was reading that they're hoping to try and complete the whole season within 6 weeks. So that's a pretty quick turnaround. That means there's going to be a lot of games over that period, you know. So we're going to go have a period where we've hardly seen any games to all of a sudden there's going to be a lot of games all in one period. But it's all about getting the season completed. We can see over there in Germany that so far, and I say so far, it seems to have been successful. And, you know, there hasn't been any more cases or, you know, no big spike or anything like that. It all seems to be very controlled. And if they can get that done over there in the Premiership and get a conclusion to this season, the champions, Liverpool, we know that's going to be the top four, who goes into the Europa League, and also, very importantly, who is relegated from the Premier League. If they can get all of that done in these games, I think it's for the good of the league. So let's see if everything just continues to run smoothly. Of course, any of those 12 people that, well, should I say, all of those 12 people who have tested positive have had to go into self-isolation. They're bringing in the track and tracing now as well, which will be able to track any person that they've been in contact with. So hopefully we can start to try and get this thing under some control, because basically it's been controlling us over the past couple of months. We need to try and start controlling it. In the training, it was very interesting to see yesterday that Saka there, he was training with the forward players. He wasn't training with the defenders. He was training up front with all the forward players, Aubameyang, Lacazette, etc. And that's quite a strong indication, I suppose, that Mikel Arteta is looking to play him in those forward positions and not as a left back. We know that Tierney, of course, is coming back now. Kolasinac will be fit as well. So it looks like he's going to get a chance to play in his preferred position, which, of course, is playing up front, wide on the wing. And, you know, in whatever job he did, he done great. You know what I mean? His delivery was outstanding. His trickery was great. So getting him further forward will be good, although we know he can do well as a left back as well. But that was very interesting to see that yesterday, that he was sort of playing further forward in the game. Also, Rob Holding, who was training yesterday, very interestingly, he put out this on his Instagram yesterday. There's been a lot of speculation that he could be one of those players sold in the summer clear out. Rob Holding is now 24, so, you know, he's not a little kid no more. But we know he's had that bad injury. This little period would have given him a chance to sort of still recover and build some strength into those muscles. And on his Instagram, he put, "Focus your energy on what you can control," which is a very good message, because, you know, you can't control anything that's happening outside. But focus your energy on what you can control. Rob Holding obviously looking to burst back into that first team and looking to stay at Arsenal. But will he stay this summer? That is going to be something we're going to have to wait and see. Also, will David Luiz still be an Arsenal player at the end of the summer? A big revelation yesterday. Everybody thought that David Luiz was on a 2-year contract at Arsenal when he signed. He's 33 now, remember, and he's on quite a high wage, £120,000 a week. Wasn't signed for a very large sum. I think it's about 8 million. But everybody assumed it was like a 1-year deal. It was a 2-year deal. According to reports coming out yesterday, it's only a 1-year deal, and with an option with Arsenal to extend it. Now, there's lots of talk that Arsenal will not be extending that deal and that he will be leaving come the summer. Now, quite surprising because, you know, Mikel Arteta has been singing his praises since he's come in. He's obviously been Mikel Arteta's main and go-to centre-back, and he's actually played very well under Mikel Arteta. You know, he's shown a lot more ability. He's playing out from the back, and his passing range has been absolutely superb, and his defending has improved a lot as well. He did, although he gets sent off in that game against Chelsea, but on the whole, his defending has really stepped up, and he overall kind of showing some leadership qualities at the back. So very surprising to hear that Arsenal may not be renewing. They've not, the official thing is that they've not entered into negotiations yet about extending. And at Benfica, which is a club he sort of started off his journey in Europe at. Could that be the reason? Because he knows that, you know, he could be leaving at the end of the summer. Certainly, it would get £120,000 a week wages off of the wage bill. But should we be getting rid of David Luiz? He's been quite, as I said, he's been quite decent under, you know, Arteta. I really like to hear from you guys what you think about this, but he could be on his way out of the club come the end of the season. And also, who could be coming in? Now, we've been linked today with another Brazilian, big geezer, this guy. His name's Diego Carlos. He plays for Sevilla. 27 now he is, and he's said to have a £67 million release clause. Now, ignore that, because there's no chance in this current market that they're going to get anywhere near that. But it still suggests that he will be quite an expensive buy. He was linked with a move to Liverpool, actually, in January. There were reports that he rejected a chance to join Liverpool in January and wanted to wait until the end of the season to see what he was going to do. His agents are actually the same agency as the company that worked with Arsenal to secure the services of Gabriel Martinelli. So they worked with Edu to get that deal done. So they'll be familiar with the Arsenal team, and it wouldn't be a problem to sit down and do business. But it's how much Sevilla would be looking for this guy, and is that the sort of deal that Arsenal are going to look at? Certainly, you know, he's a big, imposing, and very highly rated defender, but we're going to have to keep our eyes on that one. Diego Carlos, his name is of Sevilla, and he's been linked. And another Brazilian that we've been linked to, one Brazilian out, a couple of Brazilians in, and that's Rafinha. Rafinha, of course, is a Barcelona player, but he's on loan this season to Celta Vigo. Now, he's 27 now, Rafinha. Hasn't really hit it off in his time. I mean, he went to Barcelona with very high hopes, but we know what it's like at Barcelona. It's so difficult to get into that first team on a regular basis. He's been at Celta Vigo. He's been playing pretty well for Celta Vigo this season. Said to be valued around about £14.3 million, which is not too expensive for a player of his quality. Midfielder, and we all know that we're short in midfielder. If you'd have watched the show last night that I did and we had Turkish on, we were both very astounded when we checked the goal scoring record of the midfielders at Arsenal, only to discover that all the midfielders, every single one of Arsenal's midfielders put together this season, have only scored 2 goals in the Premier League, one from Ozil, one from Torreira, and that is something that definitely needs to change. But Rafinha being linked today, those links coming out of the Spanish media. I think a lot of the Spanish media are obviously linking a lot of the sort of Barcelona players that are surplus to requirements with moves to the Premier League. And what's going to happen with Ryan Fraser? Now, the thought seemed to be that he was going to be on his way to Tottenham this summer. They seem to be the club that were really at the forefront of trying to sign him. But according to the Daily Star and the Mail, Arsenal are confident of landing him ahead of Spurs. Ryan Fraser, of course, plays out wide, plays for Bournemouth, 26 now, good player, available on a free contract at the end of the season. Hasn't had a great season this year. The previous year, he was superb. You know, one of the leading assist makers in the whole of the Premier League. But being linked with Arsenal, as I said, be available on a free contract. But again, a winger. We're talking about Saka there, you know, trying to get into those wing positions at Arsenal. Do we need another winger? I think not, even if he is available on a free. But let's keep our eyes on this, because we do know that at Arsenal, we love a free deal, right? Let's get into some of your comments. Would be interesting to hear what you guys have got to say on the David Luiz thing in particular, because that came as a bit of a shock yesterday. Wasn't really considering David Luiz leaving, to be fair. I thought he, you know, one more year out of him at the end of the season. Tess says David Luiz doesn't know what loyalty is. He plays for the checks and not for the shirts. Sounds like a Chelsea fan there. Well, yeah, I mean, I think David Luiz would like to stay on for an extra season. So, you know, he's coming towards the end of his career. I'm not too sure if it's all about checks now for him. He's made a lot of money for his career. He's won a lot of things. So I wouldn't say it's just about money for David Luiz right now. Daniel says Luiz liked his mentality and attitude. He is good compared to the bunch of defenders we've got, but let's get some quality in there. Hashtag trust Arteta. I mean, if Luiz is going, who's coming? Who's replacing him? That's what I want to know. Is he, you know, because if you're not getting a suitable replacement in, you may as well hold on to him until the end of next season. Ashatosh says, hey, hello, Robbie. Rob Holding, Mustafi, Papa, and Luiz probably will leave. This means work is going on inside the club to bring in 2 good replacements. What do you think? Love from India. Possibly. Listen, I've said all along, we've done in some of these shows. We did a show, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where we said we got like 8 centre backs. You know, you say there, Rob Holding, Mustafi, Socrates, David Luiz. Remember, there's others. There's Mari here at the moment. We don't know whether that's going to be a permanent deal or not, but he's another defender at the moment. Mavropanos is another defender. Callum Chambers, you know, way too many, you know, way too many. Something's got to give. Some, you know, we don't need that many. We just get rid of about at least 4 of them, in my opinion. But I'd be surprised with the David Luiz thing, because you just kind of look at it and say, at the moment, he's the one out of those lot that I'd say I'll be keeping for now. You can put him alongside Saliba. He's got a lot of experience. It's kind of surprising, but it gets a whopping amount of money off the wage bill and maybe frees that up to be able to bring somebody else in. Dr. Viral says, hi, Robbie. I think it ain't too bad a decision to get to let David Luiz go, as long as we get an experienced defender of top quality. Can't rely upon youngsters all the time. Need experience in the squad. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. As long as you get that experience in. If not, we've got to be careful here. Joshua L says, sell the entire defence, all other than Tierney and Saliba, obviously, and get proper defenders. You're not going to be able to sell the whole defence, are you? I hear what you're saying. They haven't delivered, but the whole defence is not going to go. Dorian says, hey, Robbie, what do you think about a window of Cedric, Mari, Partey, Coutinho on loan, Fraser, and good sales of Socrates, Mustafi, Neni, and Mkhitaryan? Yeah, that'd be a good window. would be a good window. Yeah, I mean, anything. I think we all know the areas that need strengthening. We know the defence needs strengthening. We know the defensive midfielder would be good, and we know that we need goals in that midfield. And I think Coutinho on loan, I've said it before, I think that would be a good option because he scores goals from midfield, and we don't score goals at the moment from midfield. Kane says Luiz has won it all in the league and Champions League. If he leaves, we need another player with a winning experience. If he leaves and we go big on bringing in, somebody of real quality, that's fair, that's cool. But I'm just saying, I sort of be careful here not to be letting the wrong centre back go. Yo, Robbie, apparently this is Welsh lad 2K20. Apparently we're linked with the Lille striker, Victor Osimhen. I'd keep holding, I'd give him one more year. And if they wanted to get rid of Luiz, sign him on an extra year contract, then sell him and get money for him. Well, his contract supposedly runs out at the end of this year. So they'd have to sign him on, say, a 2-year contract to get any money for him, any sale at him at the end of that. As I said, just be careful we don't get rid of the wrong guy here. Amar23 says, watching Saka train with the attackers is the result of his hard work that he did while playing as a left back. Impressed Mikel. Now when the time's right, he's been given his chance. This is what Ainsley, Maitland-Niles should do. I agree with that. You can't argue with that at all. Amkalela, I think I pronounced, says, Robbie, greetings from South Africa. Luiz should leave whether we get a new centre-back or not. Give Holding one more season to prove himself now that he's recovered, but still look to a top centre-back, sell Mustafi and Socrates. As I said with Luiz, if you're signing a top quality, and they could be looking at someone, it could be this Diego Carlos, it could be somebody else. If we're bringing in a centre-back of real top quality, no problem. If not, we'll be slightly careful here because he is an experienced defender. He has been playing better under Arteta. He's an organiser. Still prone to that mistake. We know he's not what we want ultimately, but as a stopgap, because remember, take into account the circumstances. The whole coronavirus pandemic is going to stunt spending, for instance. Be slightly careful here. That's all I'm saying, Winfred says this is probably the beginning of getting rid of all the deadwood at the club. And I think Arteta is going to be quite ruthless in getting rid of deadwood. He is. And he needs to be. He definitely needs to be. Adam K says we should make a big money move for an attacking midfielder and a holding midfielder. The defence would be sorted. I see Mari as a future rocking defence alongside an up and coming Saliba. Yeah, I've not seen enough of either of those. Right, a lot of hype around Saliba. He's labelled at the moment as a prospect. That means he's still got a couple of years to go to get him, up to where we're probably going to want to see him at. Mari seems to fit the bill, but we've not seen him, have a sustained amount of games in the Premier League yet for me to even draw a conclusion on him, right? So that's why I'm saying I want to see more of these guys before I start putting them ahead of David Luiz and people like that at this moment in time. He's a very experienced player. Best in the world one says, have you seen the videos of Socrates with a ball at his feet? No wonder Luiz wants him to leave, having had him to play next to him. Socrates, I think, he hasn't done badly since he's been at Arsenal. Let's have it right. He's not done badly. He's chipped in with a couple of goals last season as well. Hasn't been bad. We need better. We need better. But I'm not going to diss Socrates now because I think he's been pretty solid since he's come in and he's done a decent enough job. But the problem is we want that top quality now in defence. If you had a couple of top quality centre backs and you had Socrates as your backup, you wouldn't argue with that. That would be a very good backup. But we need some solid defenders now. We've got to fix that problem that we've had for absolute years. Andrea says we're not getting a quality defender this summer. Keep Luiz. Nassar says the defense was never the problem. Yeah, it's our midfield. Always giving the ball away in dangerous areas. Sort the midfield out, and the defense will look better right away. Listen, he makes a good point there. In that our midfield has been poor, hasn't shielded our back four. I remember at the start of the season when under Unai Emery, teams were just winning the ball in our midfield and just waltzing through. You know what I mean? Waltzing through up on our defense. It was appalling. And if I was a defender, I'd have been going back into that change room and gripping up some of the midfielders and saying, what are you doing, man? Where's the protection? However, the defense as well has not been good enough. They have also made too many mistakes that have cost us results in games. Daniel Smith says, this guy hasn't even seen them both play. I don't know if he's on about me, right? Or if he's on about the other. I think he's on about the other guy. I'm just saying, look, with me, right? That's why I'm just taking my time on some of these things, because Pablo Mari, we've seen him play one game in the Premier League, right? And if that game had been brilliant, I wouldn't go over the top because it's one game. I'd be looking at it and thinking, oh, he looks decent. All right, let's see him in a run of games. And if he had been terrible, I wouldn't have judged him because I'd be like, that's his first game. I need to see more of him. It's the same with Saliba. Looks a great prospect. Seen him a couple of games and Saint Etienne, looks good, but that's over in Ligue 1. This Premier League is a lot different, a lot more quality players, a lot more different things to deal with in the Premier League. So I want to see that before I start saying that they replace these guys. They got to come in and earn their stripes, you know. Peace, love with a super chat here. Thank you. He says, it's better to replace a player a year early than a year later. Hashtag Sanchez, hashtag Ozil. Robbie, would you swap DT for Expressions? I would without hesitation. Expressions a Tottenham fan. No. No. Although, you know, I get on well with Expressions, but I don't know. He just needs to sort his team out, man. If he sorted that team out, he'd be such a nice guy. But unfortunately, he supports them not down the road, and I ain't having that. Mr. A says, it's very worrying that we are letting our best ball-playing centre-back go. We already lack creativity at times. Luiz was a difference maker with his passing. So I kind of, you know, as I said, I'm just slightly worried that, you know, is that the right guy to be letting go right now? If that is, you know, if you call, and I know that, you know, that might not even happen because Arteta really likes David Luiz, but I think it's going to boil down a lot to the finances as well. Lowe says, hey, Robbie, I think that Luiz has improved quite a lot since joining Arsenal. His leadership is valuable and his passing is excellent. Keep holding. He's good when he isn't injured. And Jan says, Luiz out, Rob. So, you know, lots of conflicting, well, lots of different comments, should I say. James says, Luiz is quality and a great influence. Only got sent off trying to save Mustafi's mistake. Give him one more year. Big love, Rob. And he says, elbow cough. Ben Cookie says, unless Arsenal bring in a top centre-back, they need to keep Luiz. He's experienced and knows the league well. Wouldn't it be brilliant if, you know, come the end of the summer, Arsenal put in a mega bid for Koulibaly or somebody of that quality and brought somebody like that in and said, right, now we got our rock, Saliba, etc. You play next to him. Wouldn't that be brilliant? That's how you fix the defence. A bit like what Liverpool did. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of balls to pull off a deal like that. But I don't know. It's in the meantime, whilst we ain't got that money, I agree. I'll be keeping Luiz right now. I would. I don't think I'll be getting rid of him unless there's quality coming the other way. And I'm not sure that will happen this summer. Kitra says, let Luiz go. Don't sign Mari. Go all in for Ragnar Goli. He's a better left-footed centre-back and a better experienced partner for Saliba. Dutch Arsenal fan is saying Xhaka will move to the back line. We saw him play there a couple of times this season. Daniel Smith says, praising a leftover Chelsea player. How the mighty have fallen. It's sad, man. Nobody, listen, it's not a matter of, well, listen, it's not complete praise because he started off the season very dodgy under Unai Emery. But I always say this, right? And this is the type of guy I am. When someone's doing well, I'm going to praise him. Under Arteta, he has been pretty solid. He has been defended well under Mikel Arteta. So I am going to praise him. I don't care if he's leftovers. I don't care if he's 21. I don't care if he's 52. If you're doing your job and you're doing it well, right, I'm going to praise you for doing it well. And since Christmas, what should I say, since the new year, he's been doing it well. That's why I'm kind of surprised that they might let him go this summer. Eliasari says, hi, Robbie. Is Saliba back to the club? And then he puts Upamecano. Saliba is coming back. I think it's he's back now, but he's not going to be available to play until next season. Calvin says, how many more chances are we going to give Holding and Chambers? I really want them to do well, but how many more chances are we going to give them? I'd keep Luiz for another year. I think those two are under a lot of pressure. Rob Holding's under a lot of pressure. He's very unlucky because he was doing really, really well. Really, really well. And then he got that really bad injury. And it set him back. But football's a ruthless world, man. It's ruthless, you know. That's why a lot of times with footballers, when that big money move comes along, they take it because they know they could be one injury away from, you know, the career's over or they're out of the team. And, you know, a couple of years ago, every Arsenal fan was like, if you said about defenders, and like, oh, all of our defenders are crap, but Rob Holding, he's the one. Let's build a team around Holding. I like Holding. Holding's the future. Yes, Holding this, Holding that. He'd been injured, right? He's coming back. He's had a couple of dodgy games in his comeback. And then all of a sudden, those same fans are like, get rid of him, sell him. No, he's had enough chances. No. So that's the career of a footballer. That's why sometimes when that big move comes in for them, when Barcelona, Real Madrid and that comes in, they take these things into account. They're like, you know what? If I don't move now, this may never come around again. I could get injured next week and be out with a cruciate ligament. And then they'll never ever come back for me again. Or the fans would want me to go, you know, so they take that into consideration. And, you know, it's a short career and it is ruthless. Very, very ruthless. Last couple now. Neil Jones says, if you are class, you should be defending well under any manager. It was clear players didn't try hard enough for Unai Emery. Well, yes, you should. But we all know that management is very important. And if players are not, you know, happy with a manager, it drops a percentage off of their performance. And under Unai Emery, they weren't happy with him for many reasons. They are playing better under Arteta, without a doubt. Rhyme that. Quam says, don't forget Luiz and Bellerin ask other players to go with a pay cut. Luiz is a true leader in the team. Robbie, love from Malaysia. Does look like he's a kind of, has some leadership qualities there. I mean, I don't know completely. We're not in that dressing room, but, you know, and Link82 says, Barcelona are looking to raise funds with sales. I think we should go all out for Lenglet if he's one of the players that they're willing to sell. MN says, are you going to catch up with Claude this week? No doubt. And what are we going to get as the last one? I'm trying to find someone who hasn't spoken yet. Where is it? Let's get Rohan. He says, I would keep Luiz because of his passing range and experience, and he will help players like Saliba and other young players like Martinelli. Also, he's good and a happy character in the dressing room, but for one more year though. Can't argue with that. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget the show. We are on tonight, but we're on an hour early. We're going to be live at 7 o'clock tonight, right? So slightly earlier than our normal 8 o'clock time. So 7 o'clock tonight. Look out for the show. But we will be back tonight with more AFTV News Daily.